Hello and welcome back to my channel. Firstly, I'm going to make a bit of an apology for my voice today because I sound very nasally. I have had extremely bad hay fever all week and it's left me sounding as though I've got a cold. But bless her, a lot of this is due to my next door neighbour and her beautiful flower garden. There seems to be 1 week each year when her garden is completely in bloom and just drifts in through our bathroom windows. And also around where we live this week they've been harvesting, and believe me, I can taste it in the air. So I should be fine by next week because my 1 week of hay fever will have gone. You can tell it's Saturday in West Bridgeford again today because it's raining, and it's getting so typical on a Saturday. But what really struck me today was when I got back from group, I came into an empty house because Joe was at work, and it was so cold. It's the 19th of August. What has happened to the weather in this country? Where's summer, please? I had to, shall I say, come in and turn on the central heating, which seems insane in the middle of August, but nice and warm now. I'll talk about my results at group this morning, and I'm very happy with the result I got this morning. I actually stuck to what I'd done last week, my 4 healthy extras. And I will share with you what I tend to spend my healthy extras on day by day, because I am very much a creature of habit. As I said last week, I'm an all or nothing type person. I tend to spend my first healthy extra A on 400 mils of skimmed goat's milk. Now this week I did try a couple of days to have full fat goat's milk, but I didn't like it. It didn't taste any different to me to the skimmed one. And I couldn't kind of quantify in my head why I should only have 200 mils of this one when I could have 400 mils of that one. So I'm ashamed to say most of it went down the sink. I just didn't rate it at all. So my favourite goat's milk is St Helens. It's lovely, and the skimmed one, as I say, 400 mils, and it's really nice. And then my second healthy extra A, I tend to split. So I have 133 mils of skimmed goat's milk, which takes me up to 533 mils on the day, and I have 30 grams of feta cheese. My healthy extra B's, I tend to spend 1 of them on coconut, and I mix coconut flour and fresh coconut, which is not strictly a healthy extra B, but the calories are the same. So I don't think excuse me, it being a little dried and finely grated makes that much difference. It seems to be working for me, and as it's 40% fibre, it's very good for the bowels. I can recommend that. And my second healthy extra B, I tend to spend on thin rye crackers, and I have the bigger round ones. You get 3 for a healthy extra B. I prefer those to the oblong ones. I think the oblong ones you might get 5, but they're not as nice in my opinion. So that's my healthy extras. And then I've been having 15 sins every day. I've been making my 15 sins up to 15 with the use of avocado again. So if I had 7 sins that day, I would then have 8 sins of avocado, which is 80 grams. If I had 6 sins, I would have 9 sins of avocado. Work it that way. Sorry, my laptop's peeping in the background. So there you go, 4 healthy extras, 15 sins every day. And what result did I get this week? I got a gain of ½ a pound, which Joe and I texted Joe from the group and told him, and he texted me back and said, yeah, remember you didn't walk your 5,000 steps this morning before group. And also I was aware that I hadn't been to the loo before group this morning, which is something that usually happens. So what's ½ a pound? It's neither here nor there, is it? I'm grateful that I did actually have a gain, because I need to creep back up towards the 9 stone 4, and today I was 9 stone 2.5. Feeling good, still feeling really full of energy, apart from the inability to breathe on some days because of the hay fever, but feeling good and loving the way I'm eating. I am, as I said, very much a creature of habit. I do tend to spend my sins on very similar things. I have kind of I don't know what the word is. Well, we'll say a friend within Slimming World now, and we're exchanging food diaries. That's helping me a great deal. I'm grateful to her because it's kind of making me look at what I'm eating on a daily basis. And although I do have a different cooked meal every day, I can tend very much towards having sushi for my sins. But I'm comfortable with that because Joe tells me that sushi is a, go on Joe, say it.
Resistant starch.
Resistant starch. Now that's not something I've got time to go into today, but it is an interesting subject. You might want to look it up. Things like cold rice, so rice salad, sushi, etc. Things like cold potatoes, so I like cold steamed new potatoes with my meals, but if you make a potato salad, etc., resistant starches work very differently on your body because they are probiotic. Yeah? I'm learning. I'm a slow learner. He has to hammer it in sometimes, but I am learning. So resistant starches do not work the same way on your body as simple carbohydrates.
Let's not go into it.
Well, it's different. So if I eat hot potatoes and I eat cold potatoes, they work differently on my body. This may be TMI for some people. You may not be interested in this side of food and eating, but I am. And yeah, I'm learning an awful lot, and it's standing me in good stead. So those are my results for this week. I actually walked 31.79 miles, which is probably 10 plus miles down on last week. But just the circumstances of the week, we've had quite a different week because Joe's worked more hours this week and we've had other commitments. So we haven't walked as much, and we haven't even been into the city this week. No shopping apart from Sainsbury's and Aldi. It's a miracle, isn't it, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
He loves it because he's one of those kind of guys who thinks you only need to spend money if you need to. If it's not a need, it's just a greed and you don't need it. So he actually does me good sometimes. I am a bit of a compulsive shopper. I love nothing better than retail therapy. And Joe sometimes has to keep my feet on the ground. So I'm grateful to him for that. I'm grateful to him for all sorts of things, but that's one of them. Anyway, again, I've got a few little headers because I've been home for about 3.5 hours and Joe's literally just walked in before a rainstorm. And as he was on his bike, I was grateful he beat the rain. So can you just give me the little headings again, Joe? And I'll keep it to a minimum today.
The first is myths.
Yeah. I asked a question in group this morning on the tail of something that someone else asked. We were talking about whether if you have battered fish and discard the batter, the fish is free. And it is, because the fish is in effect steamed within the batter. And as long as you throw the batter away, the fish is free. I then went on to ask the question because I'd heard somebody verbalise it in a YouTube video this week, and I honestly didn't know the answer with confidence. And if I don't know something on plan with confidence, I always approach my consultant and ask for my own peace of mind, and I may need it myself. So somebody asked the question on a video this week, and I'm sorry, but I can't even remember who it was. If you take the skin off chicken, off cooked chicken, if you bought it ready cooked, is it then free? I didn't know the answer, but I would have said no, because I was thinking back to when we used to eat rotisserie chicken when I first started at Slimming World, and you had to count it. And I can't remember how many sins it was, but it was probably 2 sins for 100 grams, shall we say. So I asked the question in group this morning, Naomi, if I buy a cooked chicken breast or a cooked chicken leg and take the skin off, is that chicken then free? And she said, yeah, definitely. And I said, but what about rotisserie chicken? You know me, I'll always go that extra mile. And she said, plain rotisserie chicken is free. So I reminded her about when we'd had a discussion some time ago about rotisserie chicken, and she said, it's changed. And if you look in the, or on the Slimming World web page, now what heading did we go to first to get to this?
It was useful features.
Go to useful features and then put the word myths in. This question is answered really clearly under something called myths and misconceptions. There's a good section there actually. They ask some interesting questions that I think I've heard lots of these questions asked in group about the use of things like couscous and smash and ice cream soda and rice pudding, and there's all sorts of questions there that get answered quite clearly. And so yeah, under myths and misconceptions, it clearly states that if you take the skin off cooked chicken You don't need to take the skin off a chicken before you cook it because it would then be very dry. Although I have seen people do that and then top it with bacon, but it's another story. If you take the skin off, cooked chicken and plain rotisserie chicken, not the sort of oiled ones, then that chicken is free. So I think that's worth knowing. Next heading, darling.
Number of target numbers.
I overheard Naomi speaking, not even sure who she was speaking to, and this really encouraged me. So I don't think I'm speaking out of school, and I really don't think for 1 minute she would mind me saying this, but we have 2 groups back to back on a Saturday morning, and through those groups this morning there were 21 target members. That actually really thrills me, because I think that one of the most important things that you need to do when you get to Target is to keep coming back. I found in the 2.5 years I've been there that the people who get to Target and don't keep coming back are the people who find it very hard to stay at Target. There is no there's no finishing line on this journey. I've said that before, and I really do believe that, and I see it every week in group. We had people in group this morning who are quite new Target members who have found how easy it is to gain once you're at Target. I did that, and I'm sure a lot of other people will do it. Excuse me. It's all part of learning how to live at Target. And I think, in my opinion and through my experience, the one thing I've learned is when you live at Target, you cannot live the way you used to live, or you won't stay at Target for very long. And if we go back to doing what we used to do, then we'll go back to getting what we used to get, which is weight increases. So I was just, although I wasn't eavesdropping, I just overheard that comment. But how encouraging is that? 21 Target members this morning. I've been in Slimming World groups over the years, and I'm not criticising them, I'm not naming them. But I've been in Slimming World groups for months and months and months and never met one Target member. I never was a Target member, so I'm not criticising other people for never getting there, because I never got there either. And I just find, I cannot praise my consultant enough, because she will get us to Target. She'll encourage us, she'll motivate us, and she'll get us there. But we have to be willing to put the wrong food down. So, yeah, I wanted to share that with you, and I'm sure I'm not speaking out of turn saying it. Anything else?
Why you don't drink water?
Yeah, I said something in my video last week, and I'm going to be really honest here. Lots of people who put up YouTube videos get dislikes, and I don't know if there are any others out there who, I don't fret about it, it doesn't worry me. I actually appreciate the fact that other people have different opinions to me. I would like it if people shared those different opinions, because that way we might all learn something. But I watched my video back yesterday, I think it was, or watched part of it back, and noticed that I had got 4 dislikes on it. So I was thinking, what could I have said, or what could I have done that might have offended somebody or upset somebody? Now, it's not going to worry me if it has offended somebody, because we all believe differently. But the only thing I could think of, and it's something I've said a few times but not really talked about properly, was the fact that I don't drink water. And I did say last week, I've had 2 glasses and they would be that big, because that's the size of our glasses. And I thought, well, maybe I ought to actually say why I don't drink water, and say what I do drink and why I drink what I drink. So I don't drink water. If you see me have a drink of water, it's quite unusual, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, very.
Very unusual. And the plain fact of it is, I don't like it. Now, it isn't because I don't like the tap water where we live. We actually have Brita water filter jugs. We filter our cooking water. We filter the water that goes into we have a water boiler rather than a kettle, but we filter the water that goes into that. We do live in a very high limescale area, so that actually helps. Because before we would be putting water into our steamer pan, and the amount of limescale that caught up in that, it was just unbelievable. So we actually filter all our water. Our tap water actually doesn't taste bad, but we have filtered water. We also have Evian, say Evian?
Yeah.
Is that the word? Evian bottled water. So there's always 4, 5, 6 bottles of Evian.
So why don't you drink water?
I don't like it.
Yeah,
just-
that's it. You don't need to bang
No,
around it.
no, I just wanted to say it isn't because a lot of people would say, my mum would say she doesn't drink tap water because she doesn't like the water where she lives isn't nice. So I don't drink water because I don't like water. I also don't drink squashes because I don't like artificial sweeteners. They give me a headache. And some people would say to me, but you know, the way to get water down you is put a splash of squash in it and drink that instead. Well, I don't drink artificial sweeteners because they give me a headache. I don't want to sin proper squash, so I choose not to have it. I don't drink fizzy drinks, I never have. I don't drink tea. Well, I might once in a blue moon if I came to your house and you didn't have any coffee. What I am is a coffee drinker. I'll put my hands up. I confess. I drink strong coffee. Joe's often horrified by the amount of coffee. I do have it strong, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
But that's fine, that's how I like it. When we used to go to Costa, which we do 4 or 5 times a week, I used to drink lattes or vanilla lattes and I used to sin them. I've moved on from that because I actually find them too sweet now. I drink double espressos topped up with water to about that size. Or if it's a hot day, I'll have a double shot in one of their small coffee, what would be a small black coffee, and I have it topped up with tap water because I don't like it red hot. They make it far too hot for me. So basically, I don't drink water, I drink coffee. So some days go by, most days go by, and all I drink is coffee. But I drink enough of it. I average 2 litres a day. And for me, at 5'2" and 9 stone 2.5, 2 litres a day is quite enough. I know how to check whether I'm dehydrated. Pinch the back of your hand and if it stays up, you're dehydrated. I'm never dehydrated. I don't have a problem passing water. My urine is the right colour. You can tell by the smell and the colour of your urine whether you're dehydrated or not. I'm not a person who sweats. I know a lot of people who are very active and go to the gym and go running and cycling and all these different things would sweat a great deal. I don't think in my entire life I've ever broken into a sweat. I've glowed on occasions, but I'm not a sweaty person. I don't have sweaty feet or sweaty hands. So at 2 litres a day of coffee, I'm quite happy that I'm not dehydrated. But I'm not saying to anybody else that that would be the right way for you. I can only do what works for me. I never want to come on here and be telling somebody else you should do this or you should do that. There are some people who love to drink water. There are some people who love to drink their sugar-free squashes or their tea with skinny syrups or whatever. We have to find as individuals what works for us. And the other thing I don't do is like drink to excess because I'm really conscious that if I drink an awful lot and I'm running to the loo every 10 minutes, the chances are that I'm washing all the healthy minerals and salts and things out of my body too quickly. So I've found a balance that works for me and I'm really comfortable with that. And I have my 533 mils of goat's milk. So I think liquid-wise, I am not lacking. So yeah. Don't have a great deal more to say today. I've had an excellent week on plan, 7 days bang on plan and loved it. I'm going to go forward and do the same thing again. Found a way of eating that I really enjoy. I found a plan that I like to be on and I'm doing what works for me. I'm looking forward to catching up on vlogs this afternoon. I haven't had a chance to watch anything for a couple of days, so I'm looking forward to catching up on other people's results and vlogs. And yeah, thank you for everybody who does vlog their story because it inspires the rest of us and gives us answers to questions and maybe makes us think a little. Thanks for being there. Thanks for your comments. I do appreciate them. And remember, it works if you work it. It won't if you don't. See you next week. Bye.